So I've had to kind of re-record this again. I got a little too emotional. And that's not normally how I handle these things. Now, I wanted to talk about a koala-brained individual. If you don't know what I mean, it's a smooth brain. Somebody by the name of Boogie. I've mentioned him before, and it'll probably be mentioned again. But I wanted to talk about him and his weaponization of people's deaths and the absolute overall crude way he's handling his situation. Now, I by no means defend Destiny. He's a now for sure horrible human being as well. So, but I will say this all started when he called Boogie out for a lie about diagnosing cancer, or cancer diagnosis, sorry. And go ahead and cover my ass. I'm using the big old A word. These are all allegations. Please understand, and also do not harass him. Don't come for him. Don't bother him. Don't even try to make this any worse. Now, the reason why I'm trying to sound calm is because I got a little heated when I did my video, and I had to cut it all out because I felt like it takes away from what I'm trying to present and what I'm trying to speak about. Now, I'd have to go ahead and explain myself. I was watching the locale live because I didn't know it actually happened. So I was streaming, and one of my subs actually told me, hey, did you check out the new Boogie stuff? I said, no, I know he already messed up this, that, and the other. He said, no, he got on locale live. I said, yeah, like, what, a week ago? And then he said, no, this was last night. Ooh, I didn't know that. So I looked it up and saw that what I thought was locale live, which I already knew they did one, I thought it was just them clowning on Wings of Redemption about the page 5 porn. And come to find out, that wasn't the end of it. That wasn't the whole, the video. There wasn't other subjects they covered. No, it goes straight into Boogie, and Boogie going on a tirade.
Records. You'll never get him. You'll never get him. You'll never get him. And I sent something to Keemstar that night. He was just going to move the goalpost, by the way. You know, Destiny's not a fucking doctor. You know who is a doctor? My fucking doctor. He's the one prescribing me all these fucking medications I'm paying for, most of which are only because I've been suffering from polycythemia for the last 2 years.
Now, I want you to remember how he says, you'll never get my medical records. Now, I'm not going to peruse the entire live and pick and clip all the clips. If you want to go watch it, I recommend you do it so you can form your own opinion. Please do. But I'll give you a quick little synopsis. Basically, what he says is he's never going to give it away, and then he starts talking about his old cancer he had, which was skin cancer, and he's willing to give that away, which is also kind of stupid because that's a part of your medical history.
He's specialist. He's epidemiologist.
Yes, okay. Even the motherfucker's Destiny, by the way, even this motherfucker has to admit I either have polycythemia or polycythemia vera.
Hey, Smooth Brain, he did. He said he thinks you have second poly. Yeah, he said that about a couple times. He straight up said he doesn't think it's cancer that you have second poly.
So if nothing else, I spent the last 2 years dealing with a deadly fucking disease. I've spent money on fucking treatments, on medications, on fucking doctor's visits for 2 fucking years. I'm not making this shit up. And when my doctor tells me it's probably cancer, I believe my fucking doctor. Now,
but yes, as you can hear, he said may have cancer. Now that right there is a huge development that I'm pretty sure he's already said. So let's go ahead and get into this. His whole problem is that he thinks that he's justified in saying he has cancer because he was told he was technically diagnosed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do something that I don't normally do. I had to look this stuff up. Now, this wasn't, oh, Google and Google told me so. This isn't Wikipedia. So if Boogie, if at any point you actually see this, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Mr. Koala, myself, this isn't Wikipedia. But let's go ahead and take a look at what I found. And I'm going to explain a few things real quick before I pull this up. These are from pages of like actual, medical websites. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is a horribly typed diagnosis. But it says, can you diagnose leukemia with just blood? There's a reason why I looked it up, and I'll explain here in a minute. But basically, it says a diagnosis of leukemia is usually made by analyzing the patient's blood sample, which that's diagnosis of leukemia, through a complete blood count and other special words. All right, so I'm going to skip that and go straight to this. This is Genesis Care. Now, I took a little while to go through all these to find these. Now, I believe this is actually one of the first searches, but I went through this, and I'll go ahead and start right here. If you wish to pause, by all means, pause. And since I'm on the right side of the screen, it shouldn't actually interfere with any other words. So I'm going to go down to here now. You want to pause? Read. And let's go down to here. This is the main point I want to get to. It's what cancers are detected by blood tests. And right here it says myth, a blood test can diagnose cancer on its own, which is kind of the point. He said the doctor diagnosed him. That's how he put it. without the exact words, which is kind of the problem. He's misdirecting the truth to try to justify him saying he was diagnosed. So either the doctor is, basically should be sued for malpractice, or Boogie's just lying, which I would assume he's just lying, because for a guy that wants to pander and be a victim, he would have, by fact, sued him, because that's bukus of money, easy money. Cancer diagnosis isn't cheap. All right, and then down here it says what tests for blood cancer. So blood tests help diagnose blood cancer, including what type you have, such as leukemia, both lymphomas. He said he had the proteins in his blood. Now, what I read through on some other ones, yes, it will show that there is a marker that can indicate that you could have cancer. And what that means is they go for more tests. I went through a whole thing about how that blood stuff works. So basically, if they see anything, they're going to go do these batteries of tests to find out if it's cancer. So specifically, second poly, which he has that, essentially states that if you have second poly, that they would like to test further because of the proteins. So second poly is going to be an overabundance of blood, blah, blah, blah. We've already been told this. It's been said 1,000 times. It's beating over, pretty much beating a dead horse. But that's basically what he is 100% confirmed at this point has. But he doesn't want to show it. You want to know why? Because he's saying it's the Vera one, which is cancer. I've already covered some of this in my last video because of when all got outed. But that's not even where it ends. It gets a little worse. So he weaponizes a couple people he knew that died of cancer. And what I mean by weaponize, I mean he literally states, how dare you think that I would sit there and lie about cancer when I knew 2 people that died of cancer? And I think it's actually like the worst that he's done at this point is to weaponize other people's passing through cancer to justify why he wouldn't lie about cancer. Well, I don't know if you know this, Boogie, but you're a pathological liar, and you have no rhyme or reason why you lie. You just do. So go ahead and go back to basically what I assume happened. A lot of people are assuming happened is the doctor said, hey, you have second poly. That's pretty much verified. We would like to see if it may be carcinogenic or a cancer or whatever, because these protein markers might lead to Vera being your cancer. Now, he's also a cancer survivor. He went ahead and told everybody that, which here's the irony. He said, I will show you the medical records on my old one, because he has proof of that one, but he doesn't have proof of this one. He only has proof that it was second poly. So that's why I go back to he's weaponizing these things so he can't be scrutinized. If you were to stand on the graves of people you know, you get to not be scrutinized about it, which I think is just disgusting. It's a horrible thing to do. Now, to get back on what I was saying, basically what he did is he said that, they checked him because he's overweight and he took tea and all that, that it progressed to second poly. And basically the proteins are in there. Now, the proteins show that there is a cancer, a type of cancer. They have to go prove that. They have to provide definitive proof. They didn't do the next test. Now, he said he didn't want to do it because it looked like it'd be a little bit painful, it'd be a problem, it would hurt, this, that, and the other, and it would be a little invasive, and he was scared. That is 100% justifiable if you're scared of getting your bone smashed with a needle to pull marrow out. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't be scared of that, Boogie. Nobody. The problem is you didn't go get the confirmation. You said the doctor did. And I'm going to go ahead, and why I keep saying the doctor did this, I'm going to explain myself. But basically, he's scared because the biopsy would be painful. Understandable. And at this point, since this all blew up, you were not confirmed. Not confirmed. And to get back to the doctor point, he's throwing him under the bus. Why? HIPAA law. Doctor can't defend himself. He cannot state anything. Nothing I could find, nothing, states a doctor can defend himself from a patient lying about a diagnosis like this, because he has to stick to HIPAA. He cannot discuss any of the treatments. He can't discuss the diagnoses. He can't discuss any client, confidentiality stuff at all. He can't do it. So it's easy for one to not name the doctor, because then he won't be harassed and probably leak anything. Two, he's not going to even give a hint towards any of it, because throw him under the bus. Why not? Because he can't do nothing. He can't say, no, well, what actually I did was diagnose him with regular second poly. But no, he's not going to do that. So there's a little bit of an issue here. We have a literal catch-22. Now, I want to also get back to him weaponizing this. He tried to say that he never used it for any donations. He is right, but he's also twisting it. Now, let me explain. Basically, he never got direct donations towards any GoFundMe. That is right, but he did utilize and weaponize a diagnosis that can't be proven, that can't be shown, that can't be defended against by a doctor or anything. He used it in everything right now. He kept talking about it. He has spoken about it on multiple occasions, quite literally, for the empathy part. So I would argue that if you say you have cancer, people are going to feel bad for you. If you break a leg, people feel bad for you. If you've been hurt or abused, which he's even had that happen, pretty much everything that he's claiming would get empathy points, little brownie points, if you will. And what happens when you get those brownie points, those little empathy points? What happens when you get all this empathy? You're probably going to see a spike in donations. Why? Because people feel bad for you and they think it's going to help you with all these piling medical bills. That's why in the documentary, you didn't really speak about the cancer as much, because all the doctor bills themselves were enough to probably get brownie points, and maybe people would donate that way. Not so much to donate or get you views or whatever directly to the fund, no, but through a back alleyway, you're getting funded by it anyway. By the way, this is my opinion. None of this is me accusing him. And then second, your pump and dump. You try to act like, oh, it's just a goof, man. It's just a goof. Really? It's just a goof? You goofed up and you should have refunded the money. You need to cough it up. I know $5,000 is a lot of money. Believe me, I understand $5,000 is a lot of money. But here's the thing. You never refunded the money, and that's where we kind of got back to the beginning. You said during the little interview that you had cancer, that you needed to keep the money for medical bills. Now, at this point in time, he's getting the biopsy at some point. And it's been said, and I'm going to go ahead and try to clarify this by what Moody was talking about. They were going to give him like 80 grand. Why? Because they wanted him to show the proof then. He said at that point in time that he would show proof once the diagnosis, or once the biopsy's done. Why? Because the biopsy would prove the diagnosis would give him the money. That's why he was trying to buy time. Well, now that they said, no, you're not getting the money because you are moving the goalposts yourself. Now that he's moving them, basically he thinks that they were lying to begin with. They wouldn't give him the money. And that's not justifiable because he doesn't have the proof. Another thing that he went ahead and backtracked on. He said it was in his paperwork that it was actually directly in his portal. And now he's admitting that it's not in his portal, which, yeah, that's another lie. So he can't even keep up with his lies. So that's why I'm assuming at this point in time, he may have been lying about the cancer stuff to begin with. He may have been lying about all that. And we can't use his girlfriend because that's a conflict of interest. Can't use his brother, conflict of interest, or his roommate. These people would protect him. But that's pretty much everything in a nutshell right now. I think this video has gone on quite a bit. I didn't expect to go on this long with this tangent. But these are my justifications why I think he's lying about everything, why I think he's fabricated everything. And I know this video probably won't ever reach him. I know a lot of people have been showing a lot of support to my channel. And since this is the end, I would like to go ahead and say, I appreciate the 600 subs. I reached that today. I was actually waiting on stream, hoping I would hit it. I was at like 598. And I didn't get to see it while I was there. It's sad. But it was cool to see that I did reach 600. And I think it's about time I'm going to get a little bit of rest and get ready for the stream here in a few hours. But that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.